Hello dear students, welcome to the first lecture of the organizing. The organizing is the second important function of the management. The functional point of view, the first important function is the planning, and second one is the organizing. In this lecture, we are going to discuss what we mean by the term is organizing, the nature of the organization, and the steps for the organizing, importance, principles of the organizing, and the types of the organization and the structure of the organization. These are the important contents of this first lecture of this chapter, organizing. Okay, let's discuss the first important element. What we mean by the term is organizing. What is an organizing? So organizing is like a process of defining the relationship within an organization. It's like a process of defining the relationship within your organization. That means bringing together all the activities of your organization. The term is known as the organizing. So it's like establishing the authority, responsibility, relationships within your organization. So what is the authority and the responsibility? It can be created through the function of the organizing. That means it's providing the coordination of the enterprises, inbuilt devices, and obtaining the harmonized group of action. The term is known as the organizing. That means organizing the activities in the organization. The term is known as the organizing. So let us look at the definition. As according to the Robinson, the organization is a process of defining the essential relationship among the people, tasks, and the activities in such a way that all organization resources are integrated and coordinated to accomplishing the objectives effectively and efficiently. That means it's a grouping of the activities and also create the relationship of the activity, authority and responsibility relationship for the purpose of attaining the objectives of the organization. The term is known as the organizing. That is one of the important terms relating with the organization, that is organizing. The organizing is second important function of the management. So management point of the first you are planning the activity, and the second one is the organizing of the activity. Okay, and we are discussing the nature of this organization. The organization has a different nature. We are discussing the nature of this organization. So the first important nature is a process. Organization is like a process. That means it's a bringing together all the activities of the organization. That means it is a creating the authority, responsibility relationship. There's the first important nature of the organization is like a process. That means it's like a continuous process. It's like a planning. The organization is always a continuous process. And second one is the organization has structure. That's structural arrangement. The structural arrangement of the authority, responsibility relationship. Whether it is a formal or the informal organization, there must be a structure. That means metric structure, the hierarchical structure, and also different structures are related with the organization. So the second important nature of the organization is like a structure. And third one is dividing and grouping of activity. That means there is authority, responsibility, relationship also related with your organizing. That means here you are dividing the works of the organization. Definitely you are also dividing the different works of the organization. The term is known as the organizing. So you first divide authority, responsibility, relationship. You are bringing together all the activity and subdividing the different activities to the different groups. So there is a dividing and the grouping of an activity. So that is another important nature is a dividing and grouping of activity. And the fourth process is the accomplishment of the goals and objectives. What is the purpose of organization? Mainly for achieving the objectives of the organization. So you're accomplishing the goals and objectives of the organization. That's the term is known as one of the important elements of the organizing. So that's the accomplishment of the goals and objectives. And there is authority responsibility. It's like a grouping of activity. There is authority means it's like a right, it's a right to give an order to some person. The term is not authority. Responsibility means there is an obligation. So there is authority and the responsibility relationships always relating with the team is the organization. So the fifth important nature is there is the authority and the responsibility relationship. Okay, and the sixth one is the human and the material aspects. This considering the human element. Man, material, machine. The man is the most suitable resource for your organization, and so maintaining the human relationships and the material aspects. That's another important nature of the organization. These are the nature of the organization. So the first important nature, your organization like a process, and second one is a structure, a dividing, a grouping of activities, an accomplishment of the goals and objectives, and there is authority and the responsibility relationship. There is human and the material aspects, and these are different natures of the organization. Okay, and after steps further, how to organize the activities in your organization. The term is known as the steps regarding your the organizing. Here we are discussing the different steps regarding your the organizing. How to organize your the management, and what different steps or the process concerned with organizing. The first important step of the organizing, that is the determination of the objectives. You first decide the objectives of your organization. The first important is always decide the objectives. What is the purpose of this organizing? Is a result oriented, and what is the basic objectives of organization? That means what is the basic objectives of your organizing? To coordinate atmosphere, to create the good relationship. That's the first important element. So for the first one is the determination of your objectives, and the second one is the division of that activity and the determine that activity. And second step, you're dividing the different suppose production activity, marketing activity, finance activity. There are different types of activity to your organization. So you must be divide the different activity for the organization. So division of the activities, the dividing, the determining the activities. That's second step. And third one is the grouping of activity. That means you're grouping the similar activity. Suppose a production point of view, there's a lot of similar activity. So you must be group this similar activity in the organization. So organizing. So the third important step is a grouping of activity. The division of activity, and third one is a grouping of activity. And fourth one is assigning the duties. Duties, assigning the right persons. You must be give the duties to the right person. So you're the boss. There is a gang plan. There's a lot of system regarding the management. So your first view grouping. After the grouping of activity, you must be assigning the duty for the different person, and who are the responsible person give the duty to this person. Suppose as a country point of view, you are the prime minister giving the different duties to different ministers, and they are performing their work. So there is assigning the duties. That is another important step of the organizing. That is assigning you the duties. And fifth one is your authority or responsibility. That means suppose assigning duty, there must be an authority. Authority means it's like an order to issue. The team is an authority, and there is a responsibility, it's obligation. Authority or responsibility is always interrelated. Authority can be delegated, but your responsibilities cannot be delegated. So the authority and responsibility is mutually connected as the organization point of view. So that is defining the authority and the responsibility. And the sixth step is the coordination of activity. After the authority and the responsibility point of view, the next one is the coordination of your the activity. You must be coordinate the different activities in your organization. So as a manager, try to coordinate the different activities. So sixth important element is the coordination of your activity. And seventh important step is the provision of the physical facility. That means one of the important elements, the infrastructure facility within an organization. So you must be arranging the recreation facility, canteen facilities for the betterment of the workers. There is a provision of the physical facilities and good environment. That's one of the important part of the organization. So it must be provide the different facility, recreation facility for the employees. So the seventh important step is the provision of the physical facility and the good environment. And eighth one is establishment of structure relationship. That means is one of the important steps. You must be hierarchical order, matrix order, which type of the structure is followed in the organization. That means good healthy relationship within a superior and subordinate. That's a part of the establishment of the structure relationship. These are the important steps regarding the organizing. The first one is the determination of the objectives and the division of activities and grouping of activities, assigning duties, defining authority and responsibility, and coordination of the activities, and provision of the physical facility, and establishment of the structural relationship. These are the important steps regarding the organizing. What's organizing? Organizing is a process of bringing together all the activities and creating a good relationship. The team is known as the organizing. These are the important steps regarding the organizing. And after that, what are the importance of the organizing? So what are the importance? Suppose you're practicing the organization act. So what are the importance? The importance point of view, the first important is specialization. The organization is always first a division of works. The division of works lead to the specialization. The first importance of organization, that is the division of works. This leads to the specialization. That's the first importance of the organization. And the second one is well-defined jobs. That means you must be defined the authority responsibility relationship. So it's a definition regarding the jobs and the activities. So it's a well-defined job is another importance of the organization. So authority responsibility is clearly defined with help of the team, the organization. So there is a well-defined job. Third one is clarify the authority and who can be authorized and who can be responsible for certain action. There is a good clarity of the authority and the responsibility relationship. That's another important part of the organization, that is the clarity of authority. And it can be possible ensure the coordination. The fourth one is the coordination. Definitely the organizing process always help to the coordination. It can be improve the coordination of the activities. Different persons are working in the organization, and the manager can properly coordinate the entire activities with help of the organizing process. And fifth one is effective administration. Administration, that means it's like whether it is a profit or the non-profit organization. Organization process always help to make effective administration. And who can be responsible for certain action. And there is a grouping of activities with help of the organization. So that is effective administration is also possible with help of the organization. And there is a growth and the diversification. The sixth important element is a growth and the diversification. That means the growth of your organization, the expansion, diversification of your organization with help of the organizing. So the organization process is always help to maintaining the growth of the organization. Then sense of security, that means the worker recreation facility, provision facilities are arranged in the process of the organization. That's creating the sense of security among the workers. That's another importance of the organization, also organizing. And the eighth one is the scope of the new changes. A good organization is always accept to the possible changes or new changes for the betterment. So it can be the good manager is always try to incorporating the new changes. So organization process always help to the scope for the new changes. And these are the importance of the organizing. Sometimes it's organization or the organizing. So these are the importance of the organizing. So sometimes it's called the organization or the organizing similarly. So these are the importance of the organizing. So once again, the organizing is always specializing. That means the division of works and well-defined job and clarify the authority, coordination. There is effective administration, growth and diversification, sense of security, and scope for the new changes. These are the importance of the organizing function. So these are the importance of the organizing. Okay, after that, what are the principles of the organization or the organizing? The principles are very similar to the Henry Fayol principle, and here there is a lot of the 14 principles of the Henry Fayol. And the first important principle is the principle of objectives. An organization must be the objective oriented. Organizing functions are objective oriented. That means to achieve the objectives of the organization. So the term is known as the principle of objectives. And second one is the principle of the specialization. That means that the division of works always lead to the specialization. So dividing the works, it's a part of the organization. So that's the division of works, and the division of works is always facilitate the specialization. And another one is a principle of coordination. That means coordinating the each and every activity in your organization. The term is known as the principle of the coordination. Okay, there's a principle of coordination, and there is a principle of authority or responsibility. That means a person give the authority is also getting the responsibility. Authority can be delegated, but the responsibilities cannot be delegated. That means the principle of the authority and the responsibility relationship. And the principle of definition, that means define the each and every activity in your organization. The term is the principle of the definition. And there is a span of control, means the number of subordinate can be effectively managed by the number of subordinate can be effectively managed by a manager. The term is known as the span of control. That means how to control the subordinate. The term is known as the principle of the control. And there is a principle of the balance. So there is a principle of the balancing of the each and every activity within the organization. The term is known as the principle of the balance. And another one is a principle of continuity. That means a continuous process, never ending process. It's like a continuous process. The term is known as the principle of the continuity. And another one is a principle of the uniformity. The uniformity is one of the important part of the organizing. That means you must be follow the unified exercise or the practice for the betterment of the organization. So the term is known as the principle of the uniformity. So another one is the principle of unity of command. That means the subordinate get the order from the single superior. The term is known as the unity of the command. And there is a principle of exception. That means exceptional matters are given to the top level managers. The term is known as the principle of the exception. And the principle of simplicity. That means everything must be a symbol and must be learned to the organization member. So suppose you are introducing something new in the organization, it must be adopted by the organization member. The term is known as the principle of the simplicity. And there is a principle of efficiency. The works are efficiently oriented. So efficiency is give the suppose a good manager try to improve the efficiency of the organization member. So practicing the effective and efficient activity for the organization. And the last one is the scalar principle. The scalar, the chain of command from the top to bottom. There is a gang plan. There is a easy of communication. The term is known as the gang plan. So that's a part of your principle of the organization. There is a scalar principle. These are the 14 principles of the organization. The first one is the principle of objective, and principle of specialization, the principle of coordination, authority response relationship, the principle of definition, span of control, the principle of balance, and uniformity, unity of command, and exception, and principle of simplicity, principle of efficiency, and the scalar principle. These are the important principles relating with the organization. Okay, and after the different types of organization. An organization can be classified into two. There is a formal organization and the informal organization. Here we are discussing what we mean by the term is formal and the informal organization. These are the two important types of organization. There is a formal and the informal organization. And what we mean by the term is a formal organization. The formal organization means there is the clear-cut rules and procedures within your organization. There is the effective rules and the regulations within your organization. The term is known as the formal organization. There must be proper rules. There is an official line of communication for every activity. There is a proper rules and procedures is followed in your organization. The term is known as the formal organization. The formal organization necessary for the success of your organization. So that means there's a clear-cut policies and procedures. It must be followed for the betterment of your organization. The term is known as the formal organization. And here we are discussing what are the important characteristics of the formal organization. The first important characteristics is clarify the relationship among the employees. Definitely the formal organization always clarify the relationship within your organization. That means who is superior and who is subordinate can be easily clearly defined in case of the formal organization. And second one, establishing the chain of command. The formal organization always establishing the chain of command, that chain of communication superior to subordinate, establishing the chain of command. And the third one is the duty of each member is clearly defined. Who is a responsible person and who is obliged person. That means duty, responsibility, authority and responsibility is clearly defined. And the fourth one is there is a clear definition of the rules and procedures. There must be clear the definition of the rules and procedures in case of the formal organization. And the fifth one, it leads to the achievement of the organization goals and objectives. Organization goals and objectives is a very important element of the formal organization. So that means achievement of the organization goals and the objectives. And these are the important characteristics of the formal organization. That means formal organization is a clear relating with a superior subordinate relationship. There is a clear-cut authority responsive relationship. So the type of the organization is known as the formal organization. And these are the important characteristics of formal organization. There is a clearly defined rules. Establishing the chain of command. Duty of the member is a clearly defined. There is a clear definition of the rules and procedures. Lead to achievement of the organization goals and objectives. And these are the important characteristics of your formal organization. Okay, and the second one is the informal organization. The informal organization, there is a personal relationship within the organization. That means interpersonal relationship within the organization. The type of the organization is known as the informal organization. And the informal organization, that means there is a personal, that means there is not an official line of communication. That's only the personal line of the communication. That means they can be easily interact with the different people who are working in the organization with help of the informal structure. Because we developing the interpersonal relationship which are not based on the work's purpose. The term is known as the informal organization. And what are the characteristics of the informal organization? The first one is the communication did not follow define the chain of. That means there is no proper communication of chain of command in case of the informal organization. That means the communication does not need to follow the defined chain. There is no chain of communication in case of the informal organization. That's one of the important characteristics. There is no chain of communication. And second one is there is no need to socialize existing the deep with or the existence. That means there is no chain of command. There is no that means there is always a personal relation. That means we can treat it as a human. Every individual is treated as a human, and there is a proper socialized link, creating the socialized link in the channel of communication. So that is one of the important characteristics. And third one is getting true feedback from the reaction. It's not easy. That means in informal organization it's not easy to get the right feedback and the right reaction. So that is another important characteristic. There is a informal again old personal structure. So it's not getting true and not getting easy to get the information from the members. These are the important characteristics of the informal organization. That means communication does not follow the chain of command. There is need to socialize. That means there is a personal relation. There is need to socialize the existing relationship, and getting the feedbacks and reaction is not easy. These are the important characteristics of the informal organization. Okay, so there's two types of organization. There's a formal organization. There is an informal organization. The formal means there's official line of communication, and the informal means the personal line of communication. And what are the basic difference the formal and the informal organization? The formal and informal organization, there is a difference. I'm discussing what are the formal versus informal. As a meaning point of the first difference, it is a formal organization. There is a proper authority-response relationship. But here there is only the personal and social relation. There is no authority-response relation. There is a personal and the social relationship. And it originates as a result of company rules and policy. So relating with the company's rules and policy, but the informal is relating with the interaction among the people. Because there is a personal relationship, there is interaction among the people. And authority point of view is a very important given authority. That means the position in the management is very important in case of the formal organization. But it arises out of the personal quality. That means there is no authority responsibility relationship in case of the informal organization. It arises out of personal quality. And behavior guided by the rules and policies. In a formal organization, the behavior is guided by the rules and the policies. But behavior is not guided by the rules. It has no set pattern. Pattern, rules and policies, patterns. And flow communication, that means through the scala chain. The formal organization basing on the scala chain, but in case of the taken place any direction. That means any informal organization nature, it's a rigid nature, but informal is always flexible nature. And leadership, it is managers are the leader and the leader chosen by the group. But here the managers are the leader, but the leaders is chosen by the group. And these are the basic differences between the formal and the informal organization. There's a meaning point of view. There is a authority responsibility, but in the social relationship, original point of rules and policy, but here there is no clear-cut policies. Authority and behavior point of view, and the flow of communication, nature point of view, the leadership point of view. These are the basic differences between you the formal and the informal organization. This is a very important element. There is a formal and the informal organization. Okay, and after that, what do you mean by the term is organization structure? What is the organization structure? We are familiar with the word is organizing. Organizing means a grouping of an activity. The term is known as organizing. And here we are discussing what we mean by the structure. Organization structure is like a outline, how to certain activities directed and the controlled. This diagram shows that the structure of an organization. That means it's like an outline how the certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of the organization. That means how to arrange the different activities in the organization. The term is known as organization structure. That means it determines how the information flows between the different levels in the company, how the information flow from the top level to the bottom level. So this level of communication, the term is known as the organization structure. That means it's how the information flow from the between the levels. The term is known as the organization structure. Okay, and we're discussing what the important characteristics of the organization structure. First important, the organized structure must be a simplicity. That means it must be a simple format. The organized structure is always in simple format, and simplicity can be easily understood. And flexibility and continuity. That means it changes according to situation and must be continued throughout the period of the organization. So the flexibility and the continuity is another important characteristics of your organization structure. And there is a clear line of authority. There is a clear line of authority between the authority responsibility between the members. There is a clear line of authority. And fourth one is a proper delegation of authority. That means the authority can be delegated, but responsibilities cannot be delegated. But you must be properly delegated the authority to the one person to the another person. That's another important characteristics of the organized structure, the proper delegation of the authority. Okay, and there's a unity of command. That means subordinate get the order from the single superior. Otherwise, this creating a lot of the conflict. So there is a unity of command and the unity of direction. Unity of direction. This is very important to give to the unity of command and the unity of direction. And sixth one is the minimum possible manager level. That means at least 3 level. A manager can effectively manage by 3 layers. That is maximum layer can be effectively managed. So the maximum managerial level is maximum 3. So minimum possible level can be ensured. How far the manager can be controlled an activity. So that is a level. So that is the minimum possible level is ensured. It cannot be exceed the maximum. So that is another important characteristic. Okay, these are the characteristics of the organized structure. There is a simplicity, there is a flexibility, there is a continuity, the clear authority, proper delegation, unity of command, minimum possible managerial level. These are the important characteristics of the organization structure. And after that, what are the importance of the organized structure and the factors determine the organized structure. What's the importance of the organized? Suppose you're building an organized structure. Suppose you build an organized structure. What are the importance of the organized structure? The first importance is a clear definition of authority and responsibility relationship. Suppose you build an organized structure, it will be possible to help to clearly define your authority and the responsibility relationship. That's the first importance of the organized structure. And second one is the channel and the pattern of communication. Can be easily fixing the channel of the communication, the pattern of the communication with help of the organized structure. Channel can be easily fixed with help of the organized structure. This communication level can be properly improved with help of the organized structure. And third one is coordinating the activity and components part of the facilitating. That means coordinating the each activities in the organization with help of the organized structure. Can be easily coordinate the different activities. And the fourth one is helps in growth and diversification. That means the growth, organization growth and diversification is always possible with help of the organization structure. It helps with the growth and the diversification of the activities. That's the fourth one. And fifth one is the workers' participation. Organization can be improved with help of the organized structure. The workers' participation can be easily improved with help of the organized structure. And sixth one is the implementation of the policies and procedures with help of the organized structure. That means implementing the policies and procedures with help of the organized structure. And seventh one is it prevents the duplication of the works and functions. Definitely the organized structure is always avoid the duplication of the work, because the single superior responsible, he give the order different person, can be avoid the duplicated works with the help of the organized structure. These are the importance of the organization structure. There is a clear definition of authority responsible relationship, the channel of the pattern, coordinating the activity, growth and diversification, and participation of the organization, and the implementation of the policy is preventing the duplication of the function. These are the importance of the organization structure. Okay, and finally, what are the factors determining the organized structure? What are the factors determining the organization structure? What are the factors? The four important factors. The one is objectives, second one is size, third one technology, and fourth one is people. These are the four basic factors determining the organized structure. The first one, objectives. That means objectives of the organization. The first, what is your objective organization? This objective is always influence your organization structure. First you decide the objective and plan your structure on the base of your objectives. The first important factor is your objectives, and second one is the size, which is the top level. That means is a medium, large, small scale organization. The size of the organization is another important factor fixing the organized structure. The size. And third one is technology, upgraded technology, the usage of technology. That's the third important factor. That means how far you using the technology and what extent you are using the technology. The technology is the third important factor. And fourth one is the people. The people is another important. That means the men working within an organization, the efficiency, the quality of the person. These are another important factors determining the organization structure. And these are the important factors determining the organization structure. So let me conclude. The first we discuss what we mean by the term is the organizing. What is the term is the organizing? The organizing is like activities and grouping of the grouping of an activity, or sometimes a grouping of the different elements of the organization, creating the authority responsibility relationship. The term is known as the organizing. And these are the nature of the organization. This is a process, structure, dividing, grouping of activity, accomplishment of the goals, authority responsibility relationship, human and material aspects. These are the important nature of the organization. And this is steps, that is the organization, objectives, grouping, assigning, defining, coordinating, provisions, and establishment of the structure relation. These are the important steps. And these are the importance of organizing or the organization, the specialization, well-defined job, clarify, coordination, effective, administration, growth and diversification, sense of security, scope for the new change. These are the importance of the organizing or the organization. And these are the 14 principles of the organization. And different types of organization, the formal organization and the informal organization. There is a formal with this official line of communication, and informal with this a personal line of communication. There is a formal and the informal organization. And out of the difference between the formal and the informal, that means the meaning wise, origin wise, authority wise, behavior, flow of communication, nature, leadership wise, there is a difference between the formal and the informal organization. This is structure of the organization. That means how the activities are directed in order to achieve the objectives of the organization. That is organized structure. This is the important feature, the simplicity, flexibility, continuity, clear authority responsibility relationship, unity of command, and minimum managerial level. These are the important characteristics of the organized structure. These are the importance of the organized structure, and finally the factors, the objectives, size, and technology, and people. These are the four important factors affecting the organization structure. Okay, anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for watching me.